From the East and the West, you've heard others, but now you've tuned into the best. This is a Prime Wave Media production.
What's up, world? It's the one and only Pop DBICD Primetime Capper, and it is time for the premier sports betting show, the Primetime Angles Live. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling great. I hope you are feeling the same. And, man, it's 2 days away from Christmas Eve and everything like that, and I know everybody's getting really excited about that, all that good stuff and everything. So pretty much, you know what we have? We have a whole bunch of sports to talk about and everything like that, but really, you know, it's all about getting that money, all about the money, baby. So pretty much let's go ahead and jump into our first bowl game for today. Now, as I told you guys yesterday, I'm only going to be reviewing the 3 bowl games that are the regular New Year's Eve games. I will put together the whole New Year's Eve, New Year's 6 tomorrow for you guys, or I'm going to split it up into 2 days for you guys as well too. So we'll just, you know, so we can just keep, you know, things fresh. But, you know, we got Christmas Eve coming up Friday, so there may or may not be a show Friday as well, too. It depends on how the schedule is looking in, you know, the NBA and things like that. And, you know, just the schedule on the day, you know what I mean? So let me go ahead and get into this game, though. Here we are, Taxslayer Gator Bowl. We got Wake Forest going against Texas A&M. Texas A&M, number 25 ranked in the nation, while you have number 17 Wake Forest. Coming into this game 10-3, runner-up of the ACC this year. Texas A&M, they got the signature win this year, beating Alabama, but those losses were pretty bad. They lost to both. They lost to Arkansas. They lost to Ole Miss. They lost to. They also lost to LSU late in the season as well too. So it just wasn't good, man. Here at the for a Texas A&M team, you just really hope that they could have pushed the envelope a little bit, and they might have found themselves in a national championship this year. They had high hopes like that. But let me go ahead and jump into the notes right now. Wake Forest is coming into the game 6-7 against the spread on the season. And when it comes to the over and under, they've went under in 7 out of their 13 games. Now, when it comes down to them being an underdog, they were an underdog 3 times this season. They're 1-2 against the spread and straight up, and they went under in 2 out of 3 of those games as an underdog. Now, you got Texas A&M coming into the game 7-5 against the spread, and they've went under in 7 out of the 12 games that they played in. They've been a favorite 11 times this season. They are 7-4 against the spread and straight up as a favorite. Now, when it comes down to the over and under as the favorite, they have went under in 7 out of 11 games that they've played in. So when I look at this game and I see the numbers on here that is scaling towards Texas A&M, I really do want to take Wake Forest, but I just got this feeling that Texas A&M is going to have a really good day that day. And the ACC is just, to me, not that good of a conference this year. And I think when you have a matchup like this one favors the team that's played against tougher. And when you look at Texas A&M's schedule, their schedule was really, really tough. So, you know, Wake Forest is like playing against like a Tennessee or something to them right now. You know what I mean? So I know that's kind of harsh, but I think that this game should have been a little bit higher up on the line and everything like that. I would expect a 6.5 or something of that nature. But other than that, I would say pretty much this should wind up being a pretty good spot right here. And I really do like Texas A&M here with the 3.5. I know it's going to jump up, but I'm going to take Texas A&M with the 3.5. We're going to see how it goes, see how it shakes out, and we'll move from there. So pretty much we have ourselves moving on to our next game, and this is going to be a fun one. The Old School Sun Bowl. This used to be the old John Hancock Bowl as well, too. So this game brings back a lot of memories. So pretty much you got the Sun Bowl. You got the Pac-12 representative going against the ACC representative this year. You got Washington State, who's going to be you have Washington State, who's going to be a very, very fun team to watch. And you have Miami as well, too. So you do have yourself a very, very fun situation going on with this. All right. So there it is with that. We have Washington State is going to be coming into this game 7-5 on the season. They're 8-4 against the spread. They've actually went under they've actually went under in 7 out of their 12 games, but they actually went over in the last 3. So that's something to notate coming into this game. Now, as an underdog this season, they're split in the 6 games they were an underdog. They are 6-6. They're 3-3 straight up, and they won 5, and they covered 5 out of 6 games against the spread as the underdog. Now, when it comes down to the over and under, they've went under in all 6 of their games as a underdog this season. So they got some good things going on here with this team moving forward. Washington State, they ended the season very well too. So that's something to look at going into this game. But I think Miami is really, really frustrated at this point in time. You know, big loss is losing to Florida State and all that stuff. And I think that Miami, if injuries didn't rear their ugly head, they could have been better this year, and they were supposed to be better this year. They're 6-6 against the spread. They went under in 6 out of their 12 games this year. They did have a push. That's why I'm saying this. And then when it comes down to them being a favorite, they're actually 5-3 straight up, but they're 3-5 against the spread as the favorite. Now, when it comes down to the over and under, they went under in 4 out of those 8 games because they have a push as a favorite as well too, So that game did line up with that. So pretty much we have ourselves our next spot, which is going to be the Arizona Bowl. And in the Arizona Bowl, this is going to be a pretty good matchup because this game is actually going to be sponsored by Barstool. This is going to be Central Michigan against Boise State. This is going to be a matchup between the MAC and the Mountain West. So we have Central Michigan, that's 8-4, and then we have Boise State, who's 7-5 coming into the game. Now, Central Michigan is 7-5 against the spread, and then when it comes down to the over and under, they went under in 7 out of their 12 games. And then when it comes down to the underdog, they're actually 2-2 straight up as an underdog, 3-1 against the spread as an underdog this year, and they're even when it comes to the over and under. So and that's as an underdog. So, you know, Central Michigan's coming in here looking really good. They really did well to close out the season. They actually won their last 4 straight, going out and getting themselves into a bowl game as well too. So they're the hot team coming into the game today. Into the game on New Year's Eve. Now, Boise State is 7-5, just like they are on the season against the spread. Then they went under in 10 out of the 12 games that they played in. And then as a favorite, they're split 4-4 against the spread and straight up. And then when it comes down to the over and under, they went under in 6 out of those 8 games. So there it is, the Arizona Bowl, Central Michigan versus Boise State. And from what I see here, I would like to go ahead and say this right now. I think Central Michigan makes this an absolute game because the thing is, Boise State's not scoring a lot of points, and Central Michigan, that kind of plays into their hands a little bit where it comes down to these low-scoring games. So these teams are, to me, a very equal bunch. You know what I mean? I know that Boise State is coming from the better conference and everything like that, but this is the MAC. The MAC has just as many NFL guys in their conference as the Mountain West as well too. So at the end of the day, this one will wind up being a good game, and I like Central Michigan to go ahead and cover this game. I'm not going to say they win the game, but I do like them on the cover. So, you know, pretty much we are getting close to closing up the second portion of our primetime bowl bets, which will be released on Monday as well too, once we get done with this week, because you know that it's I have it from the 17th to the 27th for the first side, and then this will run from the 28th to the 4th. So yeah, this is going to be pretty good, and then from what I can see here, I cannot wait to see exactly what this game brings. You know what I mean? So pretty much there it is for today. Tomorrow we'll be reviewing the New Year's Six, and so you guys make sure to tune in for that. And pretty much with this right now, we're going to go ahead and take a quick commercial break. And when we get back, we'll be going ahead and talking about the state of the Lakers, and we'll also be talking about the NBA Wednesday night as well too. So you guys stay tuned. This is the premier sports betting show, the Primetime Angles Live.
Good News Only Racing Club, led by the legendary Doug O'Neill, the trainer of 2 Kentucky Derby winners, and I'll have another in Nyquist. Also trained 2-time Breeders' Cup champ Golden Sense, who are just a part of a long list of thoroughbred champions trained by Doug O'Neill. The Good News Only Racing Club has a young core of horses to look out for in Dennis's Celery, Irish Heatwave, and Notre Dame, just to name a few. Win the day every day with the Good News Only Racing Club, a proud sponsor of the NFL Bet Exchange.
From the East and the West, you've heard others, but now you've tuned into the best. This is a Prime Wave Media production.
Tune into Big Wave Boxing every week with a brand new guest with the one and only Pop DiBiase, the Primetime Capper, getting the best boxing stories, best boxing angles, and the truth when it all comes down to the sweet science. Tune into Big Wave Boxing on the Prime Wave Media channel on YouTube.
All right, so we are back, and let's go ahead and jump into it. We have the state of the Lakers, and everything with the Lakers right now, is not looking too good. But you know what? It is what it is at the end of the day, man. Pretty much the writing's on the wall. This is an old team, and you know what? In the NBA, back in the day, like say in the 90s, late 80s, things like that, you could put these teams together and be like, wow, we're gonna get to the championship. Because everybody had, that it was just like these guys everybody was like the same age. There wasn't a lot of kids running around here. There wasn't a lot of young players. You know what I mean? And so now in the NBA, you have more youth than you have older players. You have to understand, once you turn 30 in the NBA, your days are numbered if you're not a LeBron, if you're not a Carmelo, if you're not a CP3. You know what I mean? So pretty much look at, I'll just give you a great example. The draft class from 2005, name anybody that's still in the league from that group. 2006, name anybody that's still in the league from that group. And you might name off one or two. LeBron James is now the only person left from the class of 2003. I graduated in 2002, and the only person left from that group is Carmelo Anthony. So that goes to show you that we're now in the 20 years later, and pretty much the NBA has just gotten younger and younger, and they churned out getting rid of older players. So, I think that the expectations were just a bit too high for the Lakers this season. I think that everybody had to go with it on a game-by-game situation. But I'm not saying the season is over yet. I'm just saying that everybody needs to kind of simmer their expectations and understand that this team possibly is going to probably be a better team in the second half of the season. I think once you get past this Christmas game, you get past January and everything like that, and you get closer to the All-Star game, that's when you'll see who the true Lakers are. But if they don't show up, then everybody's getting traded. It's just that simple. Just know that part. You know what I mean? So I think the Lakers are still a playoff team. Are they a top 4 seed in the West? No, not at this point. But I think that they can still overtake the teams that are ahead of them at 5 and 6. But at this point right now, it's really tough because there's a lot of young teams that are hungry to prove themselves to their GOAT, LeBron James. Yes, I said it, their GOAT, LeBron James. Because you guys have to understand that these kids were born, a lot of these young players in the NBA were born pretty much at the end of the 90s. So they can't claim Jordan as their GOAT. So what they're going to do is they're going to go at LeBron, because that's who they went ahead and signed up with. Because when they were 12 and 13 years old, he was the ruler of he was the premier player in basketball. And today is pretty much still the premier player in basketball. But at that time, 10 years ago, he was playing with the premier team in basketball. Now he's playing with a lot of his friends and a lot of people that he's very comfortable with, but that doesn't necessarily equate to success. And I think that at the end of the day, as I keep saying, you cannot let players dictate on roster moves. I don't care how good they are and how good it was when they were in these other places. It just won't work here. He didn't do it in Miami, so why would you let him do it in LA? No, come on. Pat Riley learned everything he knew about running a franchise from the Los Angeles Lakers, and he wasn't even silly enough to let LeBron tell him how to run a team. So pretty much, at the end of the day, I think that everybody needs to start doing their job. That's what they really need to do. Ball players need to play ball. Executives need to make the right moves. Yes, it's good to get input from the employees and everything like that. But at the end of the day, if they're not producing, then it doesn't matter what they're talking about. We have to get to producing. And I think that everybody's blaming everybody. And I think at this end of the day, I think that just pretty much it's just an absolute mess. And you have way too many Laker fans that are pacifying situations that they don't need to pacify at this point, in my opinion. Rob Pelinka is sorry as a GM. It's the writing's on the wall. Jeannie Buss taking over the team was good, but not good at the same time too, because it was more about her trying to show off a little bit and show her brothers that she knows how to run it better than they do. And now when you look at what Mitch Kupchak and what Jim Buss were trying to do, and they were trying to build another version of Showtime, and it was going to take a couple years, but it was going to be there. And you guys have to understand that you really, really shouldn't let those puppies go. You know what I mean? These guys are good. Julius Randle is the same. It could have been your B version of LeBron. You know what I mean? You have Lonzo Ball, who's going to be pretty much the next Jason Kidd. You got Brandon Ingram, who has the same skill set as Kevin Durant. You got Kyle Kuzma, who's an everyman type player. He played defense and offense. You had Jason Hart, who's the same type of player, played defense and offense. You know what I mean? And then you had Caruso, who was a guy who did the little things to help you win. Should I keep going? Because now you got Wagner, another guy you drafted in the first round, who's absolutely killing it for Orlando right now. You know what I mean? Because he gets to play with his brother. You guys didn't even give him a chance. So at the end of the day, you had a stacked roster of very good young talent from the college game, and you guys absolutely just threw it away just so you guys could go get Anthony Davis, a player that you already knew was an injury-prone player and literally only plays about 60 to 75% of the season each and every year. Yeah, you got a championship out of it. And it took a long time. It took 10 years to get another championship since the point from when Kobe had won the last championship against the Celtics. But you gave away so much just to get one ring when you could have got multiple rings and been a team of the decade. But you know what? We can't live in the past, right? So all in all, the Lakers last night, went from good basketball to bad basketball to absolutely just awful. So the Lakers just really need to go ahead and look at themselves in the mirror and say, who do they want to be winners, or they just want to be losers? It is what it is at the end of the day. Everybody wants to blow up the team and everything like that. I say give them about another 2 weeks or so. Maybe they can get it back together. But it's just, I know it's hard. It's hard on me today talking about it, that you got a team that wins 3 in a row. You're starting to get a little bit of positivity. Then they lose 3 in a row. Then you lose your star for 4 weeks in the process of that 3-game losing streak. So it's just, if it's not one thing, it's another, So pretty much that's the state of the Lakers today. They got a game on Thursday versus the Spurs as well, too. I think that's going to be the last game where they're going to call the Staples Center. They've already taken off the Staples Center logo off the roof. I saw that last night. It looks like it's going to be a very blue stadium over there, unlike before where it was kind of like red, blue, and white and all that good stuff. So there it is. You guys bear with me. We're about to go ahead and jump into the NBA Wednesday night. So NBA Wednesday night, we got ourselves pretty good games going on. Up first, we got the Magic at the Hawks. This is going to be a divisional matchup between these two. Southeast, baby. And you have a 6-25 Magic team, absolute struggle. And then you have a Hawks team that's 14-15. Now the Hawks come into the game with the Hawks are kind of just, it's hard to tell what the Hawks are, you know what I mean? But all in all, these teams have played twice, and they've played it the first time playing on November 15th. The Hawks won that game in Atlanta 129-111. And then a few days ago, on the 15th of this month, the Hawks went ahead and won 111-99 in Orlando. So tonight they meet back up again in Atlanta to see to try to go ahead and pretty much they're in their third of 4 games. So when I look at the numbers for this month for the Magic, they're 2-7 straight up in December, but they're 4-5 against the spread in December, and then they went over in 5 out of 9 games. They're much improved than they've been over the last 2 months to me. I think they're playing much harder basketball. That doesn't mean that they're playing better basketball. That just means that they're not laying down like they were before, or they're not overshooting or shooting themselves out the game. They're figuring out ways to stay competitive and stay in the game. I think that's a good stat to look at for the Magic tonight as well, too. Now, you got the Hawks, who are 3-5 against the spread and straight up in the month of December, and they've went over in 5 out of their 8 games this month. And you have to understand they did take a game off that they were supposed to play against Cleveland, which was postponed. So, with their game being postponed and them having to really put together a team fairly, quickly, I would say that this should wind up being a pretty good game and much closer than it looks on paper. I think that the Hawks are going to be an absolute overbet tonight. Orlando could possibly get an upset tonight, but I'm not going to bet on that portion of it. I'll just take the spread with the insurance because I'm getting 7 points as is, and I know it's going to just keep climbing as we get to the tip-off because they really want to go ahead and get that Orlando money here, because I know that it's just they're stacking hard on Atlanta. Because you look at the record and you tell yourself, "Oh, Atlanta should breeze in this one because they're at home," but that doesn't necessarily mean Atlanta wins the game. This is a divisional game. Divisional games are much more different than going against just an Eastern Conference opponent or a Western Conference opponent. So there it is. We move forward to our next game, and that's going to be another team that's meeting, 2 more teams that are meeting for the 3rd time this season. That's going to be the Cavs headed to Boston for the first time this year. They're 19-12, and the Celtics are 15-16 coming into the game. Now, the Cavs have not won like this since LeBron James was there, but they have split with the Celtics this year. Before I get into that, I have to give you guys the numbers on how they've how things have turned out between these 2 teams. Now, the Cavs won the first matchup of the year on November 13th, 91-89, and then the Celtics won 98-92 November 15th. Now, when it comes down to the Cavs, it's the Cavs have won the last 10 out of 12 games, and then when it comes down to the spread in those 12 games, they're 12-0. I got so excited about looking at the Cavs numbers, I totally blipped, talk about the season series. So this team is absolutely incredible right now, and they've won their 6th straight, and they just hit another gear. You know what I mean? Evan Mobley was out for 4 games. They lost all 4 of those games, but what happened was the last 2 they covered. The first 2 they got blown out. So this Cavs team. And then the moment he gets back, they peel off 4 in a row. So, this is absolutely insane right now. They've won 6 straight games this month as well, too, since a loss earlier this month. I think it was the Utah. So was it Utah? No. It was somebody. They covered in the game though. Let me go ahead and look exactly who it was. The last loss that they had was against Milwaukee this month. They lost to Milwaukee by 8 in Milwaukee. So this team is killing it right now. They're 10-0 against the spread this month as well, too. So they've covered in every single game that they played in this month. And then they went under in 6 out of the 10 games that they've played in this month as well, too. Now, when it comes down to the Celtics, they're 4-6 straight up this month. They're 6-4 against the spread, and they're even when it comes to the over and under. Now, when I look at this game tonight, we all know since the Cavs have been so good against the spread, this probably might be the night to where you might need to maybe fade them, because it's almost too good to be true. Even though you want to take them tonight, I know you do. They're a plus 210 tonight, but somebody's missing in that lineup tonight. And somebody's 50-50, or we already know that they're going to be out. So pretty much I think that the right play here is to watch the scoreboard tonight. And I think we tend to go with the trend that's going on with these games. Both games, neither team got to 100 in either game. So I think that this will wind up being, once again, another great defensive matchup tonight between two teams going in two different directions. The Celtics were the team with the expectations. The Cavs, everybody was thinking about, who are they going to add with Evan Mobley and Garland and Sexton, after they have another 50 to 60 loss season. No. Not this team, not this moment, and they are making up for lost time right now. You can pretty much book the Cavs for the playoffs this season as well, too. I thought they'd be a 7th or 8th seed, but the way that they're playing, they could be in the top 4 seeds this year because they have a great dynamic going on over there in the city of rock and roll. All right, so there it is. We move on to our next game, which is going to be a East versus West game between the Rockets and the Bucks tonight. And this is actually going to be their second game of the month as well, too. The Bucks won the first game 123-114 on the 10th of this month. And that game was actually in Houston. So pretty much they are finishing up their season series tonight of the 2 games that they have to play each other every year. And the Rockets are 6-5 straight up in the month of December. Even though they did start off the month with a 4-game winning streak, they've only went 2-5 since that point. Now, against the spread, they're 3-8 this month. And then when it comes down to the over and under, I'm sorry. They have the same numbers. I'm sorry. The Rockets are 6-5 straight up in December, but they're 8-3 against the spread in December. Now, when it comes to the over and under, they went over in 9 out of the 11 games that they played in. So, once again, I'm going to just keep throwing that out here. This team was 1-16 at one point. They're 9-5 since. So, they're picking it up, and this team will be much greater later, in my opinion. They got a lot of dogs, as I like to call them, on that team. Now, the Bucks have the same straight-up record this month in December. Now, I confused myself. It's going to be 3-8 against the spread for the Bucks this month. And when it comes down to the over and under, it's pretty much split with the push. Okay, so there it is with that. And I think tonight, the Bucks have been struggling. So I'm not taking the Rockets to win, even though they possibly can win because the way that they're going about their games night in and night out. I just think that they keep doing what they've been doing. They get the cover tonight. And I like the +9 on the Rockets. I think they're giving them way too many points tonight. We'll see how it goes. We'll see how it shakes out. But that's going to be the Rockets at the Bucks tonight from the old Bradley Center. It's the Fisher V Forum now. So we'll see how it goes, see how it shakes out. All right, so we move on to our next game, which is going to be the Nuggets and the Thunder. The Thunder, big claps to the Thunder. The Thunder avenged that 73-point loss very well the other night. They got themselves a nice win over Memphis as well, too. And I told you guys on the show, that you had to bet OKC. If you weren't going to take the money line, you got to take the spread, because the spread was guaranteed. The money line was the bonus. So Thunder took care of their business. Good for them. Nuggets 15-14 coming into this game. The Thunder 10-19. The Nuggets are 5-4 against the spread and straight up in the month of December. Now, when it comes to the over and under, they went over in 8 out of the 9 games that they've been in in December. Now, they did have a game postponed as well, too, so that's why it seems like they're not playing that many games this month. Now, the Thunder come into the game 4-5 straight up in December, which is good. This is probably right now pacing to be their best month of the season. They've won the last 2 in a row as well, too. When it comes to the spread, they're actually 5-4 against the spread, and they went over in 5 out of those 9 games. Now, the Nuggets have been trending so well on the over that it's so hard to really sit up in here and say to yourself that, oh, well, maybe they'll go under today. No. The Nuggets are scoring a lot, and they're giving up a lot of points right now. And I think that's working out pretty well for them because they're start winning their fair share of games that way as well, too, because when they are below the hundreds and things like that, their games get a little tricky. You know what I mean? So pretty much the Nuggets tonight, I don't know if they'll cover the game, but I think that the over 213 is an absolute steal tonight. So I love that play tonight. So we'll see how it goes, see how it shakes out. Thunder playing much better basketball this month, like I said before, but compared to how they were the first 3 games of the season, it's been really good. You know what I mean? But they still keep having their lackadaisical moments where they really, really fall behind, because this team, when they fall behind, if the other team wants to really go ahead and embarrass them, they can. So we'll see how it goes tonight. But Nuggets Thunder should be another really good game. And we move forward to the final game of the night, the nightcap, because we do have a game that's off tonight that would have been going, but it's been postponed for tonight. So we only got 5. We were supposed to have 6. So here we are. We got the Clippers and the Kings tonight, and this will be their 3rd meeting of this month. The Clippers are 0-2 against the Kings, and this is pretty surprising because, as you can see, the Kings are 13-19, the Kings are 16-15. So, and real quick, a quick dig at Clipper fans. It looks like you're not that much better than the Lakers. You're 16-15, they're 16-16. So I don't know. I don't know who's underachieving more. But one is without its supreme leader, and the other is just inconsistent. So we'll see how it goes at the end of the year. But I think that will probably be the most important series in LA. Who wins the battle? Who wins the battle of Staples Center? All right. So quick notes on the Clippers: 5-5 straight up in December. They've lost their last 3 games in a row. But they did start off the month winning their first 4 games in a row. So this has been a kind of a helter-skelter, weird type of month for this team. Now, when it comes down to actually, they won their first 3 in a row. Sorry about that. They actually, when it comes down to the spread, they're 4-6 this month. And then when it comes down to the over and under, they're actually went under in 6 out of the 10 games they played in. Now, the Kings this month are even on the spread and on straight up games. They're 5-5 in their 10 games, and then they've went over in 6 out of the 10 games. Now, I know that I'm playing with house money right here, and I know that probably you look at it and say, okay, these were 2 lucky victories that the Kings got. Not so fast. The Kings, and actually the second game was in Sacramento. I said both games was at Staples. The second game was at Sacramento, just like tonight. It was closer in Sacramento than it was in LA. I'm just saying to myself, the Clippers have just not looked good the last 3 games, and they looked really bad against a very against a bottom feeder pretty much in the Spurs. The Spurs play hard. They try hard, things like that. But you would have thought the Clippers would have had a better effort in that game because they've played them much better since the big 3 retired. So pretty much I look at this game and I tell myself that let's go ahead and say 3rd time's the charm, right? Let's go ahead and ride the wave and see if the Kings can go ahead and do it again and get themselves a nice win. I love the plus 80 on them tonight. I think that they can go ahead and absolutely romp the Clippers in this spot because the Clippers are just playing that bad of basketball at this point. But, we'll see how it goes. But I love the plus 180 on the Kings tonight, and it's a home dog. And also to give you guys a little bit of to make you feel a little bit better, is that we've hit the dog bet of the day in the NBA 2 days in a row, and that's like the first time I think we've done that all month. So yeah, it's been a rough month with the dog bet of the day, but hey, we're betting on plus money. So if you have a 15 and 15, that means that you're up money. You wouldn't be losing. Okay, so at the end of the day, this is what I see. I love the over, and I love the dog bet here as well too. So there it is. That's going to be the Clippers and the Kings, and this should be a good game between the capital city and the second LA team. All right. So there it is. There it is. Okay. So real quick, I'm going to go ahead and take another quick commercial break. And when I get back, we'll go ahead and we'll get into Talkin Tickets. So you guys make sure to stay tuned. This is the Premier Sports Betting Show, the Primetime Angles Live.
Now you and your friends can compete in the sport of kings and win big with Stable Duel. Get the app, pick your horses, and get in on the thrill of horse racing with daily games competing against other players. Bring home the glory and the cash, and move up the annual leaderboard while you leave your competition in the dust. Get in the game with Stable Duel. Play, race, win.
Good News Only Racing Club, led by the legendary Doug O'Neill, the trainer of 2 Kentucky Derby winners, and I'll have another in Nyquist. Also trained 2-time Breeders' Cup champ Golden Sense, who are just a part of a long list of thoroughbred champions trained by Doug O'Neill. The Good News Only Racing Club has a young core of horses to look out for in Dennis's Celery, Irish Heatwave, and Notre Dame, just to name a few. Win the day every day with the Good News Only Racing Club, a proud sponsor of the NFL Bet Exchange.
All right, we're back with the Premier Sports Betting Show, the Primetime Angles Live, with your host, the one and only Pop DiBiase, the Primetime Capper. So we got Talking Tickets, one of my favorite segments, and I know it's one of your favorite segments as well too. So pretty much it's that time. Let's go ahead and talk about them tickets. And up first, we got the Armed Forces Bowl, the game that's going to be between Missouri and Army today. And this game is over in Fort Worth, Texas today as well too. It's at the I know it's at the TCU stadium, I think. So we have Missouri, who jumped up from our earlier numbers when they were a +4. They now are a +7. And then when it comes to the over and under today, we're going to take the over 53.5. I expect points to be on the board. And then I love Missouri in the first half of this game today as well too, +165 on the first half. I think they get out here early and often and find themselves with the lead at the half. And then I have the over 13.5 first quarter. I do feel like both teams will score on their opening drives, and they won't be field goals. All right, so there it is, the Armed Forces Bowl bets, and we got 4 of them there for you today. Single what you like. All right, so we move on, and we have ourselves now the primetime pick 6 for college basketball, 57-1. We have the +11.5 with Bethune Cookman, and then we have Georgia with the -170 money line today, and then we got Hofstra, who's coming off of a monster upset last weekend at +180 and going against Monmouth, and then we have Indiana, who's 17.5 tonight, and they're in a good spot. This is a real get over game for Indiana, so it should be good. And come on, man, Houston is absolutely cooking teams that are not top tier. So I love the 18.5 on them tonight. And then I'm going to go with a good rivalry game tonight. We got UC San Diego going against San Diego State. So we got a battle of the state-ran schools going against each other. And I think that the Division II UC San Diego squad winds up getting themselves a nice little cover today. They always give San Diego State some issues when these guys face off, even in football. It's just a great rivalry, you know what I mean? So I love the 57-1 today. Let's see how it goes. Let's see how it shakes out. But hopefully we can get this bad boy home and get us some have us some early Christmas fun. You know what I mean? So there it is, 57-1 on the PrimeTime PK6. Now we go ahead and it's your ticket, the NBA Super High Five. And you know, this bad boy been with me for the last 6 years. I've been giving it to you guys, going on 7 years now. So pretty much the NBA Super High Five, 36-1. We got the Magic +7 today. Also, we have the under 216.5 with the Cavs and the Celtics. And then we also have the +9 with the Rockets tonight. And then we're going to go ahead and take the over 213 on the Nuggets and Thunder game. And then, as I said before, we're going to rock with the dog of the day with the Kings, not the Spurs. It's going to be the Kings. So sorry about that. It's going to be the Kings, not the Spurs. All right. So there it is, +180 on the Kings tonight. And I'll make sure to get this fixed up for you guys as well, too, when I go ahead and retweet and put this on my story as well. So there it is, Kings money line +180. There it is. There it is. So pretty much, once again, I thank you guys so much for tuning in today. And this is, you know, the premier sports betting show, the Primetime Eagles Live. I'm your host, Pop DBICD Primetime Capper. As I always say, if you got a hunch, bet a bunch. Always bet with your head, not with your heart. The movement is movement, and I am gone.
From the East and the West, you've heard others, but now you've tuned into the best. This is a Prime Wave Media production.